bringing you today my speed farming build for the Crusader class. We are utilizing 3 movement skills and maxed out movement speed. As you can see, it goes extremely fast, so you can easily do missions below 2 minutes. So we want 25 points in warfare. We want the deflect, movement speed, crit chance, and of course the 50% damage bonus. Toughness doesn't really matter, but you can put those 2 points into it and get the heat resist. Virtue, you want 20 points for another 35% damage bonus. For perks, we want Blessing of Saint Victorious, so we can survive high level missions. We want Tactician, mainly for the supreme cooldown reduction. So your base cooldown reduction should be 30%, and together with the perk we will get to 60%. Tactician gets applied only to skills that have at least 2 seconds cooldown. So as you can see, if I exchange it, our movement skill has 3.4 seconds. This skill has 2 seconds. And this one has 4.1 seconds. So if we apply it, we get 2 seconds cooldown for this one, 1.2 seconds for this one, and 2.4 for this one. Lastly, you want Stride of the Blessed, so we get another 30% movement speed, but it's not only movement speed, it's supreme movement speed, so we can get to 80%. The normal soft cap is 50% movement speed, but with this one we can get to 80%, which is the max you can get. For example, this one gives you 20%, but it's not applied because it's not supreme movement speed. For our stats, you want a high amount of deflect because it is directly translated into armor piercing with our enchant. You want a decent amount of crit chance, 30% cooldown reduction, so we can get to 60% with Tactician perk. And you want the base movement speed of 50%, so we can get to the max with Stride of the Blessed. Here you want enriched token on crit, so we have an enriched token source. Our main skills all deal AoE damage, so you want to roll this. For virtue, so we can get to 20 points. And you want shock and slow on vulnerability. Eye implant, you want damage per enriched token, and crit chance, crit strength, more AoE damage, and you can roll movement speed on it. You want to get the main implant of Wrath, so you can get another 9 enriched tokens. Until you can get it, you can use a normal implant with damage per enriched token. I'm using this doctrine, but you could also socket AoE damage and effectiveness into it if you want to. This just gives more explosions, so it can be helpful. In your Purity Seal, you want this enchant. Because we are using a melee weapon, we are getting shield drain. Because of this, we have most of the time energy shields, so we get a lot of suppression gain. Here you can roll more deflect, cooldown reduction and other defenses. For our belt we want a teleporter and we want the enchant that gives us 200% damage bonus. I would try to get first effectiveness and suppression gain, and you should socket AoE damage and more effectiveness. For your armor you want to use an assault armor. You can use any assault armor, you mainly want to use it because of the jump skill. I'm using a Daemon Forged armor because it maximizes our damage, but you can also play it on a Puritan Crusader. You want to roll more defenses on here and more supreme crit chance. You want to socket the Ethereal Doctrine in here so you can survive high level missions much easier. If you want, you can check out my Invincible setup video. It will explain why we're using this doctrine. For our Inoculator you want the Fear Aura that we get in Enraged State. It will help us to create debuffs very fast, so we can apply our general vulnerability much faster. Here you can roll more attributes, movement speed, and more importantly you want Inoculator cooldown on kill and supply charge drops, so we can easily recharge our teleporter. Socket again AoE damage and more effectiveness, and here we're using Blood Balm, Sorbent, Holdfast so our yellow components last longer, and Daikon. You could exchange Absorbent for another Daikon so you have more damage. For our weapon we are using the Power Hammer that gives us stunned explosions. It goes up to 500%, so try to get it as high as possible. You should roll crit chance on it, life and shield drain. You can roll something else down here. I just chose it so our stuns last longer. You must socket this doctrine into here, so all our critical hits will stun enemies. So we have a very easy way to get this enchant to work all the time, and we cause massive explosions. For our Signum you want one that applies general vulnerabilities because it gives a massive damage boost. You can check out my advanced player guide, there I explain how this works. You should roll more effectiveness on here, and you want more crit chance and cooldown reduction. Our second Signum should be damage per enriched token, so we can have another massive damage boost. Again you want effectiveness, crit chance and cooldown reduction on here. For our shield you want a Storm Shield because it gives us shield charge, so we have another movement skill. You want to get this enchant on here so we have a way to apply armor piercing so we can deal with armored enemies. Here you can get more deflect, you can get suppression gain. Those others are nice to have, but you could exchange it for something else if you want to. We are socketing Heat Aura here because it gives another way to easily clear the map and apply on-hit effects, debuffs, vulnerabilities, and it also helps us to apply this doctrine. So our crits from our Heat Aura will also stun enemies. You can easily use this build early on because you can roll most enchants also on normal relic items. For example, on the Storm Shield you can also get the armor piercing enchant on a normal relic item, and on your Power Hammer you can also get the stunned enchant on a normal relic item. On your Power Armor you could use something like this, so you get healed each time you use the movement skill, or you could use something like this, so your focus cost for your movement skill gets further reduced, or you could use this one for example. Okay, we start with the melee tree. This gives us a way to apply physical vulnerabilities with our melee hits. This one gives us 50% damage bonus at max stacks. And here we get another 50% at max stacks. And we have a lot of deflect, so it's easy to stack up. Next we max out the AoE tree. So we get more damage. We also get more cooldown reduction each time we are hitting with our AoE skills, and overall we get many small benefits. Then we want the physical tree. So we get this debuff, we get another 50% damage bonus, and we get another way to inflict physical vulnerabilities. So it's much easier to keep it at 10 stacks. Critical hit tree, we get another 100% damage bonus here, more suppression bonus. Here we get class resource gain, so we easily can use our movement skill from our armor and more life gain. We also want to put points in the heat tree, so our heat aura will also get vulnerabilities, so it deals more damage and it also inflicts burn. Debuff tree, we get more damage here. Another way to gain suppression, and we are stunning enemies all the time, so that's very good. And here we get some damage reduction when we knock back or knock down enemies. The movement tree we want, so we have more movement speed, so we can max it out to 50%. We get more cooldown reductions. Here cooldown reduction on deflect, we have a lot of deflect in this build. Here more cooldown reduction on crit. Just overall very good to have. Okay, I'm going to show you a plus 18 mission now, but I'm not really playing this build on plus 18. Most of the time I'm playing on plus 0 to plus 15, so I can easily clear the map with the heat aura and stun explosion combination. But you can see you can also do plus 18 missions without a problem.
Identified in teleportarian range.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, just ask in the comments.
Undesired variable removed.